What can you expect from the 2022 edition of the Music Entrepreneur Code? What's different about this version versus the last? That's what we're going to be looking at in this episode of the New Music Industry Podcast.
You're listening to the New Music Industry with David Andrew Wiebe.
Hey, it's David Andrew. So at long last, it's been revealed. Now you know one of the reasons I've been wanting to talk more about the Music Entrepreneur Code as of late. It's because I've been working on the second edition of the book. As for the other reason I've been wanting to talk more about the Music Entrepreneur Code, well, that will have to wait. In this episode, I wanted to give you a preview of the new book. Normally, this is where I would read you the introduction, which is what I'm going to be doing in one of the next couple of episodes. But here, I wanted to share a little bit about what's new with this edition. So let's get into it. Here's what led to the creation of the Music Entrepreneur Code 2022 edition, now with more ninja. Last year, I had the pleasure of sharing my best-selling, guitar windmilling, cigar smoking, and whiskey swilling, the Music Entrepreneur Code with you. Literally, that's what we did to celebrate. And the feedback I got on the new book was phenomenal. Rocker status. As I continued to share the work with readers and friends, though, I realized there was an opportunity for an encore performance. Most, if not all, of what's shared in the book is going to stand the test of time, like Stairway to Heaven, meaning it's unlikely to go to style like nu metal schlock of the early 2000s. Not to mention, in the book, principles were distilled down to their core essentials, like Eric Clapton's Unplugged. No fluff, no BS. In that sense, revision would be redundant, like the Beastie Boys deluxe edition of Check Your Head. And so here's what's new in the Music Entrepreneur Code 2022 edition. The most significant opportunity I recognized with the book was the importance of sharing my story. As we all know, story creates connection. And I don't say that to sound smart. Some of the greatest songwriters of all time, Leonard Cohen, Bruce Springsteen, and Paul Simon, obviously knew this. But with a new introduction centered on story and heart-based connection, I knew that the tactics and strategies discussed in the book would land the plane on smoother, gold-studded runways. It would roll out the red carpet. As with any other artist or creative, I've had many struggles. Some would say that's putting it mildly. And while struggling is ultimately optional, to get to that point in your development requires some deep intellectual digging and usually several $1,000s worth of courses. I go and do those for you so you don't have to. But that's a whole other conversation. Remind me to waffle it out on another occasion. With the latest edition of the Music Entrepreneur Code, I wanted to crack the code on creating intense relatability and instill an emotional connection, just as Elton John did with Candle in the Wind. I believe I have accomplished exactly that with the new introduction. This isn't all that's available in the latest hard-rocking edition of the Music Entrepreneur Code, though. Here's what else was changed. More data and insights. Although some of the biggest questions will be left to the forthcoming follow-up, the Music Entrepreneur Companion Guide, the latest edition of the Music Entrepreneur Code features art and science-based secrets to unlocking your inner musical star. More opportunities. We're getting ready to launch some done-for-you opportunities to earn an income from sharing the book, and we're excited about what's to come. More ninja. Talking about revisions and updates is unsexy, so I'm just calling these changes more ninja instead. It's more fun that way. More tool and resource recommendations. One of the things readers loved about the Music Entrepreneur Code was how it pointed them in the direction of other great gear to help them on their Budokan journey. The latest edition of the book comes with even more. And all that together is about 30 pages of new content. So if you're ready to crank your amps up to 11 and embark upon your Budokan journey, the 2022 edition of the Music Entrepreneur Code, I'm groovy, I'm funkadelic enough to have set up a short link for you. You can go to musicentrepreneurhq.com/code 2022. That's the numbers 2022. This has been episode 258 of the New Music Industry Podcast. I'm David Andrew Wiebe, and I look forward to seeing you on the stages of the world.
Thank you for listening. Music in this episode was brought to you by Brian Young. Wherever you're listening to this right now, please consider leaving a 5-star review and comment to help us get the word out about the podcast.